This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are excited to be back here with our Heart of God healing. Stella Crispo is an intuitive psychic reader, pranic energy healer, so much more. And we're excited she's back today to talk to us more about, how she's helping people like you out there just listening today, because that's what she does best. And you also have a heart of gold for wanting to do all this. Stella Crispo, please say hello and introduce yourself to those that may be new to the show today.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Jill, for having me again. It's really, like I said before, it's almost like I know you. Hi, everybody. My name is Stella Crispo. I am a psychic intuitive and a pranic healer. Kind of new at all of it, but it's definitely something that has been within me really since childhood, and I just didn't know it.
Oh my goodness. I know she gave us the backstory. I got to learn all that, and you guys can get it too. Go online, go on the website. But it's amazing the gift that she has. And for those that may not know, just explain it a little bit of what you can do, what you can sense, and how you're helping people with this spiritual guidance and ability that you've been gifted with.
Sure. So I was always intuitive, and I've come to the point, where I tell people first and foremost, we are spiritual beings. We all have intuition. We all have connection to spirit. And I find this, and I did say this last time, I'm sorry, but I find this so important, especially for teens and people who are really quick to say, I'm anxious and I'm depressed. And even my son would say, Mom, I'm anxious. I have an exam tomorrow. I was like, well, you know what? Are you prepared? Because if you're not prepared, I get anxious too. I mean, that's part of it. I'm not talking, obviously people who are clinically, we're not talking about that, but it's just the fact that we are, we can go within, and we are divinely guided too if we listen to it. And we always, we don't always, but and I think that's what started, when I was younger. Shall I talk about this or more?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Start rambling.
I'm hooked. Go for it. Yes.
So, basically when I think I've always been intuitive. And again, I think we all have it, whether you want to listen to it or not. And I remember being like 12, I think it was 12, I don't remember, 11, 12. And I remember I didn't know if it was a dream or a vision of a man with two suitcases. And in that vision, I also knew, sometimes you just know whether you see it or not. And I knew the person left and came back. So I remember asking my mom, if my dad had ever left. And she said no. And 4 years later, he did. And he came back for a month. Yeah, I know, I'm getting goosebumps.
I got goosebumps too. That's powerful.
It's just amazing. Obviously it's sad, but, and then, I had a boyfriend, and I had seen, I went to his job once, and I saw the secretary, and nice person. And I just knew one day they'd be married, and they are. So it's all of that. But now I was raised, I'm Italian, so I was raised, Catholic and religious and all that. So I do remember asking family members, and I even have a cousin who is a mother superior in Rome. So, I was always fascinated with psychics and tarot and all of that. And I was always trying to rectify that, I guess, or justify that. One of the reasons my dad actually left was because he started on that esoteric path, and which led him elsewhere. So I always had that in me, but you have the guilt. You're not supposed to do tarot. We're not supposed to know the future. That's the work of the devil, all of that. So I never really, I didn't follow it. I probably got a reading, one or, a couple readings here and there just for fun. And should have listened probably to my intuition a lot, although I do believe everything brings us to this exact moment right now, talking to you.
Well, it's so weird. Like okay, don't laugh. I don't know if you know anything I'm going to talk about, but just do you know that there's a show called Manifest on TV? Did you ever watch it by any chance?
No, actually.
Or Lost? Anyway, my kids are 8 and 10, and it's really not really kids shows, but like I sleep with my children, so we watch it at night, and we watch Lost for all the seasons, and like how people are like on an island, but they're all intuitively connected around
Lost,
the world.
Right.
But then you got this Manifest thing happening too, where these people were on a plane, like, and they left for 5 years. They came back as if nothing was wrong. wrong, and everyone's like, how did they appear? We thought they were dead, that the plane
Hmm.
disappeared, but now they're back, and all these like intuitive
Mm.
things are happening to them, and they're
Right.
predicting like an accident or helping someone who's, locked up, or child trafficking. Like it's just like,
Right.
and I just really feel like this. It's like an intuitive type show. It's not anything to do with intuitives, but it's like
Right.
it makes you really believe. It's like, wow, this that's this, and you get goosebumps because this type of stuff
Right.
does happen in real life. And
It
yeah,
does.
that's fiction.
Right.
It's TV, but like, yeah, and things are meant to be. And I feel like every second, like I'm meant to meet you. I'm meant to be
Right.
here. Like
Absolutely.
everything, good and
Absolutely.
bad, that happens for some reason.
Well,
There's a
right. Right. Because
purpose that.
even exactly, because even the mistakes bring you here, you
Mhm.
know. Um, so wait, how come it's called manifest though?
Manifest because they were on an airplane, so maybe like
Right.
like manifest, like the manifest of the people that were on the plane. There was like, I don't know how many passengers, but they all
Right.
then, turns out they have a special protein marker in their body. So what happened while they were away? Looks like they were close to death experience. There's some type of protein marker saying they almost had a stroke or something. So what really happened? I don't know, because I only started watching it a few episodes ago.
Right.
But manifest must be that. But then I also think manifest like in manifesting things, but I don't think it has to do with that. I think it's more of the airline thing. But oh, I get
Oh, okay.
goosebumps. Yeah, yeah.
Because this is my thing too. It's like manifesting or your intuition. Because I'm not a law of attraction person. I do believe we have to think positive, but I'm one of those people where my biggest blessings came when I wasn't looking for them.
Hmm.
So that was the intuition with the yeah, I was trying to find that. You're saying it's not about manifestation. It's just more
No,
about,
no, it's
yeah,
about the people that were on the plane. But then the stuff that
right.
starts happening, and they really become empathic, intuitive, and they're like
And all
predicting, telling the screaming at a bus driver on a public bus, stop the bus, stop. And the guy's like, what? I'm driving the bus. Who are stop? And he stops, and then like he
that. Mm,
prevents from hitting a kid that ran on the street. Like all these like
right.
intuitive
Yeah.
ooh
Right.
types of things that happen in life.
I know.
And so like your gift in a sense, you're like, how does it work for you? Like just like you're at the supermarket, are you sensing people like next to you, what's going on in their lives? Are you like, how do you turn that off, or do you welcome that energy? And how does that work when you're out like amongst people?
I mean, I do. I do. I'm always praying for protection. I mean, there's so many times I'm driving and, for a second you're looking at your radio and then bam, I look up and there was somebody on the side of the road that so I feel I think God, guides us a lot in terms of that. I do, if I'm talking to someone or if I'm like, I've gotten to the point now where it's like, I'm cleaning house too, like with people I know. And it's,
No, but yeah, I get it.
and all my life too, being Italian, it's like I've always done, I mean, I've done, I do what I want too, but you're always about the other person. It's always about the other person. And which is fine. I do believe if you are capable to help someone, you should. I do believe that. Um, but when you're in a relationship and you give someone 20 chances because you want to give them 20 chances, that kind of thing. Yeah. That's where it's like, no, I'm sorry you had a problem before me,
Mhm.
but I can't help you there. And I think it's that, and even some, just energy. I'm just getting to the point where it's just I can feel if I don't want a certain energy around me, and it's no judgment. We're all in a different kind of place, but I think
Amazing.
it's part of where we all are right now. There's like a big awakening if people want to, you know.
And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are like yourself that are talking more about how they are intuitive and making us all realize we do have a gift. Maybe we all have it. Maybe
Right.
how, and it's okay to talk about it. I felt like years ago it was more like woo woo, like, oh,
Oh, right.
don't believe that.
Absolutely.
Well, can I tell you, share a story? This may be insightful
Of
to our
course.
listeners. I think to you, I hope it is. My uncle passed away last August. He has three
Oh,
girls that are
sorry.
younger than me. They're in their 30s, beautiful girls. My aunt now lives in Pennsylvania by herself. He passed. He had cancer, esophageal cancer.
Mm,
Long story short, he passed in August. Her birthday, my aunt's birthday was last month. She hasn't had a dream, a sign, nothing. Her birthday
mm,
morning, she wakes up and there's two dimes on her bedroom floor. Thinks nothing of it, goes away. Later
yeah.
on that night, she brought it up to her daughter and she's like, yeah, these dimes, she doesn't have change. She lives out like in Mannheim, like where it's like farmland. Like, I don't carry cash and change, whatever.
Mm,
And then her daughter's like, Mom, and she Googled it. That's like a sign from like a loved one. And she's like, what? And then they Google and you look at what people say as signs and what that
mm,
means. Well, then like the next day,
mm.
her daughter, my cousin woke up with two dimes stuck to her back. She in
Mm-hmm.
her bed. Okay, now goosebumps. Here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That is definitely
What?
right.
She doesn't have. Now everyone's flipping out. Now it gets better. Now, just last week, my cousin works in Queens, in Bayside, New York, at a dental office, and a new patient comes in and says, she said something, "Are you going through a divorce?" And my cousin actually is, but she must have been
Wow.
embarrassed about it or whatever. She's like, "No," like didn't know who the lady was, so a little
Right.
guarded. And then as she's talking, she's like, I just have to ask her, any loved ones around you, receiving dimes or seeing dime? And she started bawling. And I saw her this weekend at my cousin's communion. She was bawling. It's like, "Oh my God, how did you know?" And the lady's like, "I have a gift." She's like, "I'm not like, I can't connect with your father." She's like, "I know it's him. I have someone if you want to connect." She's like, "But I just feel, I feel energy." She's like, "And I can
Right.
sense this means he's around you. You need to know this." And she's like hysterical, like, "Oh
Right.
my goodness." And she was one of those who didn't really believe in psychics,
Mm,
mediums, and all that. And now it's like, so how confirming is that? What? How do you know,
that
a stranger
is
know that your family is seeing dimes or finding dimes,
dimes.
let alone like,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, just
huge.
stuff like that is just so beautiful how that the way of the world works, right? That's like, I
Right.
think it
Right.
like, yeah.
That's amazing. And I believe the fact that your cousin your cousin clarified it for your aunt the first time invited more,
Got
I
it.
think.
Got it. So if you talk about it more, you mean, and
Yeah,
it happened to her,
I
and
think
then the
so.
other one, ooh,
Yep. Oh, that's wild.
yeah,
That's wild.
it's fascinating. So the type of work that people come to you for mostly when they want, an intuitive type reading, what are they looking for? Because you're not like connecting to, well, you can connect in a sense to like on the other side. Explain it to me.
Sure. I mean, I started as a healer.
Yes.
I'm a pranic healer, and in 2017 I started working as a pranic healer. We did a lot of healing for COVID, um, a lot of remote healing. We were healing people all over the world. I personally, I don't need pictures or anything. You can just feel the energy. And we did a lot. And, sadly, that was a huge, I mean, I developed as a healer like very quickly because we were just healing constantly. We were home, and all of that. And I think as that ability grew, my sensing of energy grew. And all of a sudden, I was talking, I think I mentioned this to you. I was talking to a friend who, was a drug addict. And he's like, "Okay, Stella, I want to get clean. I want to get clean." And we had one great conversation. And the next day he was all ready to go. And I hadn't done anything, so it was sometimes the energy, sometimes it really is just about that connection as well. Um, so as I started sensing energy, all of a sudden I can sense yes and no questions. Then I had a reading done, which actually propelled me into tarot. And I love for me, it's this, I have to clarify this because I have to justify this in myself as well. It's
Okay.
not the card that's talking. It is
Yes.
just, and again, and a lot of times I find myself like I already know the answer before I pull the card. So the card will just sort of confirm.
Validate in a sense.
Exactly. Right. So the healing is one thing that, I mean, that's huge. I heal people all the time. I have a cousin in the hospital, so I was working on him. My son he's away at college. I can sense when something's up with him. The other day I was like, "What's up with your left ear?" Nothing, ma, nothing, ma. And then I found out, he told me what's up with his left ear. So I do that all the time. But then as I got into tarot right now, so now people do come to me more so for the tarot, more so for guidance. I do connect if they want to connect. Sometimes people just come in during the reading, and I'll just say, "Who is such and such?" And um,
Do you have a cat?
a dog.
I just heard meow. I thought it was a cat. Meow.
Just now you heard it,
I heard something.
or
Yeah.
before?
No, just now as you were talking. I have cats, but
Ah,
I have
you
none
have
in the
cat.
room with me. But I
Uh,
heard something.
that's interesting. No, I have a dog, and oh, I thought maybe you heard him before. Um, so even now, and you know what I like too is the fact, I've been through a lot. So I find that sometimes like a 15-minute tarot reading turns into like an hour of like back and forth. And I like to combine everything. Like if someone's talking to me about someone and they tell me what it's like your sign has a lot to do with it, I believe. Like I'm a Scorpio sun, rising Pisces moon. I have a lot of water in my chart.
I don't
So when
understand all
I
that.
was,
How do you know you're a rising? It goes by birth date, and then when you're born, how does that work?
yep, that's well, and you can go to cafeastrology.com. They give you free charts, and
Okay.
it is based on your location. I mean,
Okay.
date, time, and location. So when I
Okay.
was growing up, and people were like, "Oh, Stella, you're too sensitive." It's like now I'm like, well, yeah, I'm all water. Of course I'm sensitive, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And you have to embrace who you are. Obviously, we can work on ourselves, right? No one's perfect. And if you are here today and not on the other side, it's because you have work to do and you have work to do for others. I do believe so. It's like finding that I'm here to experience life, but I'm here to help others as well.
Oh, I
And
love
just
it.
finding that whole being Italian, being a woman, being a nurturer, all of that, and being able to say no. I don't like the word no, actually. I find a different way to say it. Honestly,
No.
that has energy to me too, personally. And I know we're supposed to say no, but I always switch. I'll be like, not today, or I need a nap or something.
Now, like, give me an example if you don't mind. Like, so how's your week been? Did you talk to anyone? Did any, like, give us some stories. I love hearing the magic because
Oh,
it
the
is
magic.
magic. Yeah, it's magic. Well, it's
Um,
like, wow.
well, I have okay. So someone texted me, did I pick up on something between them and an ex, and I don't know the person. I almost hardly know her. She just became a social friend, which is a very nice person.
Mhm.
So I did just download something and gave her an answer. So again, I feel the answer intuitively, and then I figure I can check the cards if I want to. Today there was something going on. I don't want to get um, too religious and political and all that, but something I was pulling cards for myself, and these two cards kept coming out, and I kept shuffling, put them back in, kept shuffling. They kept coming out, and they basically were showing the end of something and a new change, and we have to be strong, whether it was for me, for all of us. um yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on politically too. I think we have a huge awakening, and religiously too. I've been raised Catholic. I pray to the saints every day. Now that's my dog. Do you hear him?
Now
I
I
think I
do.
have to
Yeah,
give him
maybe
a
I called
treat.
him into
Can
it.
you
I'm
wait a second
sorry.
or no?
Yes, of
Can
course.
you wait one
Yeah.
second? 1 second. Thank you. He just wants attention because he knows I'm talking to you. Hold
No
on.
problem. Hi.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. So I have a YouTube channel, so I do that all the time on the lives. I'm like, excuse me, one
Yes.
second. So
Tell
sorry
me,
about
tell me,
that.
tell me. I want to hear more about this. What are we doing on Facebook, on YouTube?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a YouTube channel,
Yes.
Heart of God Healing, and that depends. Like I'm on there, and then I'm not on there. I've been doing a lot of private readings. I do private events monthly at a venue in New Jersey. I'm doing um, volunteer. I'm reading for 3 hours for a mom with children with disabilities event right for Mother's Day next Friday in Montclair. Um, so what was I saying? Oh, about religion.
Uh,
It's just hard, because it's like it's like constant growth. And I think, and that's the thing. It's like I've been religious. I've been, I pray and all of that my whole life. But I've shifted since 2017. That's when I started. And I have to tell the story, right? About how I
yeah.
started healing.
Go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So not funny, my father passed in 2015. And at this point, I was just strictly religious. My dad was doing other stuff. He was in Florida. He was remarried. And 2 years later, his wife sends me a box of his things. And truthfully, at this point, he was living in Florida for 20 years. I mean, nothing was really personal to me, except this book right on top. And I'm getting goosebumps again.
Mm-hmm.
Give me this little book. I could show you if you want. Born to Heal by Ruth Montgomery, small like this, all the brown pages, really old. And I remember saying to her, why'd you give me this book? She's like, I don't know. And then I just Googled. I knew about Reiki. My sister does Reiki. I knew about Reiki, but I was just like, okay, the healing center is near me. And the Center for Pranic Healing showed up. And, again, even pranic healing talks about the chakras, which is very Eastern. So this was all like, oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to do this. And yet I was supposed to do this.
Wow.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. As soon as I Googled and I found that place, I started studying. And we helped a lot of people. And I think there's some you were curious about some testimonials, I think.
Yes.
If you want.
Love it. I want to
I
hear.
know, because we were talking about religion. So it's been a constant. So there were two people in particular. I call them my miracle cases. Thankfully, we helped a lot of people. I do believe, truthfully, if you could stay off the ventilator, you can get through it. And I have family who passed from COVID, so I'm not trying to make light of it. So there was this one girl. My neighbor just said, can you help this girl? She was young, I think early 20s. Please, her family, they had already lost the brother like years before. She's like, please, they have to put her on the ventilator. She needs to be on the ventilator for 2 weeks. I was like, okay. I was like, I need permission technically. She's like, well, I'm giving you permission. And 2 healings, she was off the ventilator.
Yeah.
And then they were on, I think because of the brother, I don't know what the connection was, but then they were on Dr. Oz. The girl was on Dr. Oz with the mom. And they didn't mention me. The mom knew about me, but they didn't, and that's fine. That's not, God works the way he's supposed to, and then there was another one. The gentleman was already on the ventilator 40 days, I think. And my friend, who's a pediatrician, very successful pediatrician, but also open to alternatives. She's like, Stella, is there anything you can do? So after about a week or so, he was off the ventilator. So it's fascinating. I mean, just fascinating and crazy, because it is all about energy and our chakras. But now it's like, if you look at a rainbow, Roy G. Biv that we grew up, those are our chakras. Red is your basic chakra. Violet, electric violet is our crown chakra. That's our chakra connection to spirit.
Oh.
So it's just, so now, it's all connected. It's just wild. And I think there's a lot that we are supposed to know that was kept from us, especially if you're, religious, I think. And all of this, the fact that we can heal. People used to get mad at me, or even my son, Ma, you think you're God? I was like, no, but God gave us all this ability. If you want to tap into it, so I just think this is a huge period of awakening for all of us. If you choose to, if you want to, So in terms of the readings, a lot of people will come for tarot, and we'll start talking about your narcissistic ex, because I've had a couple of those, or we'll talk about your, whatever your, I don't want to make it too personal, but whatever your emotionally abusive cousin, whatever, and then it starts becoming, I don't want to say therapy session because I'm not a doctor, but it becomes a therapy session. And it's great.
We use that word very loosely. Exactly. That talking to your friend, it becomes a therapy session sometimes. I could say that, but yes, it's true.
Right. And it's like, and some people come to me for readings and they're like, well, so there's no one else I could talk to. There are a couple of people who they come for the cards, but they come for the chat. There's like no one else I could talk to about this. I was like, okay, anytime. So, and then it depends on if someone wants to connect, or if I see someone, they'll tell me, especially when a lot of people come for readings, they don't come with questions. They just come with, what do you see? So then it's like, I could see I could see your sister or something, why is my sister always in my reading? One person told me that. I was like, I don't know you, because it's something you have to deal with, I guess, that kind of thing.
Ooh. Like, are you like, I mean, like, do people like leave like saying, oh my goodness, like I've been to mediums before, I've been to psychics before, and I just like everything's always like spot on. I just feel like, and people are like, well, how do you know this one? How do you know that one? Trust the deck. Like, you just can resonate with someone, you can feel it. You just know. And
you feel it. Yeah.
There's so
or sometimes, I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
Go ahead. So many times, go ahead.
No, but there are times I might be do a reading. Someone's asking me about whatever, their son. And I'm like, well, who's this woman? Sometimes you can see the energy, like a Queen of Wands is a diva, for example. I love that. That's the term I use for Queen of Wands.
Okay.
And they'll be like, yeah, well, that's my so-and-so, But
Well,
I just love helping. For me, it's all about helping. It's not, and I have to tell you, you do have to be careful. I've woken up, I've been attacked, and spiritually, I've woken up with scratches on me and things like that. You have to really, you do have to be careful.
Do you remember that?
With a good,
I've never heard of that.
oh, do you want to hear
Spiritually
this? It was
sorry.
crazy.
Can you share if you want
Yeah,
to?
I would
Yeah,
love
yeah.
to.
Please.
I would love to. So this was actually, and I'm not blaming, this is actually quite interesting. So, even before, I don't meditate, I pray. But when you meditate, you have to be careful. I don't know if you do, but you have to be careful who you pray to. And you have to be sure that you close out the lower vibrational entities, because they do come through. They come through our music. They come through gaming. Once there was a little something in my home here, because my son, games a lot. And there was like a rattle. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. There was this rattle in one of the cupboards, and I was afraid I thought it was a mouse. And the minute the thing heard my son's voice, it disappeared. It was weird. And I had my neighbor come in, nothing in there, no holes, nothing. I know it's crazy. So I had this one situation. So while we were healing for COVID, I'm a musician, so I had a gig, and we were also healing a lot in groups. I think I mentioned this. So if, especially we were healing a lot. So we'd be like, you work on somebody Monday, I'll work on her Tuesday, whatever. And then once in a while we would meditate as a group. So I remember specifically this one night, the 3 people, they were going to meditate and I could not join because I had a gig. Now every night my dog sleeps on the floor next to me, on the right side on the floor. Mm-hmm. But he always gets me up at 6. So I remember specifically, I came home from the gig that night. I was like, Petey, his name's Pete. Petey, you are not sleeping in here tonight. I have to get some sleep. So I remember putting him outside. Literally, I just closed my door. He wasn't allowed in that night. I go to sleep, and all of a sudden I hear what you heard, that whimpering, like that.
Yeah.
He's whimpering now. And I'm saying to myself, I'm in bed. I'm like, Pete's not in here. So I do look on the floor just in case, and he wasn't.
Oh.
And I woke up with scratches all over my legs. So I don't know if they meditated that night, without proper protection. It was wild, kind of scary and wild. So this is going all the way now, coming back to tarot and all of that. You have to make sure as much as you can that you're protected and the door's closed to that, And that's why people do say you have to be careful, and that's the work of the other side. And I do believe, in a way, honestly, we shouldn't. I think we are here to live this life. We don't really need to know the exact future, but I like the fact that if I can just help you, just to guide, like, should I do this or should I do that? Yeah. And again, if you really, really go into your intuition and can sit still, because sometimes I can't sit still and just I know the answers in me. I'm like, let me pull 2 cards just for fun. But I know the answer's in me, so you don't want to sit still, but the answer is there. But if you need the guidance, then I think it's important. I love it. I mean, I love helping. I think I told you this last time too, but I don't like to tell people anything, extremely negative, and I don't, it becomes more of a healing session in many ways.
Awesome. No, I love it. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing some more stories, and for helping so many. And I just, I want to thank you for that. Also want to thank you for the fact that you still you're doing free healings, which are amazing. Donations accepted, of course. But that's so kind. Thank you for that. And
thank you.
Tell us how we can contact you if we want to maybe get a reading with or without tarot. You do offer also intuitive and psychic guidance as well. How can we reach out to you?
Info@heartofgodhealing.com, and you can go to my website, also heartofgodhealing.com. I am in North Jersey, so readings can be in person if people want. Otherwise, Zoom, phone, any of those are fine as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Pleasure seeing you again.
Thank you so much, Jill. It's a pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of your day, this dreary day.
Thank you.
Hopefully the sun comes out tomorrow for us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it should. All right. Thank you so much, Peter. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.